Credit Karma has been lying to millions of Americans. Millions of Americans have been convinced that the score that they see at Credit Karma is the score that any of these lenders are going to actually use. Well, guess what? The sad truth is, it is actually not the credit score that lenders are going to use. Because more than 90% of lenders are going to be using some type of FICO score, and that is an industry FICO score. Every single industry is different, and it's super confusing. There's free credit scores here, free credit scores there. Your credit cards give you free credit scores, but none of those free credit scores are actually what lenders are looking at. So why do they matter, and what credit score should you actually be looking for? So this video is going to be one of the most important videos where I'm going to break it down to the basics and explain to you exactly what nobody else is talking about. What is the credit score that you should truly be looking for, and where can you find it for the low? Because at the end of the day, millions of Americans are using Credit Karma because it's free, but we unfortunately don't understand that it's free because you are the product. This is a marketing site. It is designed 100% to sell you crappy credit cards, bad loans with high interest rates. They love people with bad credit, and they're going to continue to feed you all those bad credits, those bad credit cards, sorry if I can say that right, and that's what got you in this place. That's the reason why you have Credit Ones, First Premiers, and Open Skies. Isn't it crazy that Credit Karma has never offered you a really good credit card? Credit Karma made over $300 million in 2023 alone with only 700 clients. Oh, don't believe me? Let's put it up on the screen so you can see it. How are they making money? Every time that you apply for something and you get approved, they get kicked back from all of that. Now listen, this is America and it's okay, it's a business. But at the end of the day, they were sued because they were misleading consumers into believing that they would actually get approved for these crappy credit cards, and then they didn't. And then all of a sudden now they can do it again. So it's a very misleading website because it confuses consumers into believing like this is my credit score. But also think about this. Isn't it crazy that it only shows you TransUnion and Equifax, but not Experian? Because Experian doesn't even waste its time with a Vantage credit score. Now remember, Credit Karma is a Vantage 3.0 credit score. You're gonna be very hard pressed to find any lender that's gonna use that. I mean, really, in all honesty, very few small credit unions use that, or some of those buy here, pay later apps. They'll use a Vantage credit score because they can get it for free. The reason why you don't actually see your industry specific FICO scores, that's what lenders are gonna look for. You don't get to see that because it costs more money at the end of the day because FICO owns it. And listen, I understand it. It makes no sense why we have to pay to see our credit scores, but it's important to understand, I want you to be armed with the most important information. So when you go apply for a car, you want to go apply for a mortgage or a home loan, or you want to apply for a new credit card, I want you to know exactly what credit score you should look for so you can make a better educated decision. Say, okay, I think I qualify for this credit card, let's go for it. Instead of just blindly going with the Credit Karma score and then going to a dealership and having them laugh at you because you're like, oh, but my Credit Karma said I have a 750. What do you mean I have a 624? That makes no sense. That's the reason why, because there's a major difference in both those credit scores. Now for me, whenever I look at my Credit Karma score, it is usually 100-point difference compared to my actual FICO score. Now when my wife looks at her actual FICO score and her Credit Karma score, it's only a few point difference. Everyone's gonna be different, but the important part here to understand, it's not just about Credit Karma, it's about understanding what score to actually look for. Now I'm gonna show you the proof of what this actual credit score looks like when you compare it for a Vantage versus an actual FICO score, so you can see the 100% proof that it's not the same and it's nowhere near alike. And it's more than 90% of lenders, remember that, more than 90% of lenders are going to use a FICO scoring algorithm because that is the most trusted and the most widely used by all lenders. Lenders have to adapt to a credit score. So when you hear people saying, oh, FICO 10T is gonna come out, this credit score is gonna come out, then none of that matters until the lenders actually use it. Lenders don't wanna use FICO 10T because it will equal less approvals. So when you hear people saying, you need to pay attention because it's gonna change this. They've been saying this for 3 years now, that FICO 10T is gonna come out. FICO 10T has been out for 4 years now, and it still has not hit the mainstream because lenders don't wanna use it because they will not get people approved. So let's take a look at our FICO Score 8. Now remember, this is the most commonly used, but this is not the credit score that lenders are going to see. You want to look for your specific industry, but we want to show these ones because this is the free ones that they show us. So on Equifax, on Equifax, you can see that's a 780. And let's go look at our actual TransUnion. TransUnion is a 798. Now let's see exactly what Credit Karma is showing us. Now let's take a look at our Credit Karma score. You're looking at Equifax is showing a 680, and then TransUnion is showing a 673. That is more than 100-point difference. Now remember, this can be for me, this can be for you. It could be different for everyone because everyone's credit profile is different. I can't just say everyone's going to be off by 100 points. No, that's not possible because every credit profile is different. It may be just a few points, like my wife's actual FICO score is only a few points off compared to her Vantage credit score at Credit Karma. Now let's take a look at all of the scores that lenders are actually going to look at. As you can see at the very top, it tells you right there, most widely used version, FICO Score 8. But that's not for everything. Scroll a little bit lower and you'll see versions used in auto lending. FICO Auto Score 8 is the most commonly used if you're trying to apply for an auto loan. Then you scroll down to the bottom, versions used in credit card decisioning, FICO Bank Card Score 8. There's very few that use anything different than the FICO Bank Card Score 8 for credit cards. Now we have seen Navy Federal pull a FICO Bank Card Score 9 and also Goldman Sachs for the Apple Card or the GM card. Those are the very few that use a different scoring algorithm. Now you scroll down to the mortgage lending, they're going to be looking at your FICO Mortgage Score 2, your FICO Mortgage Score 5, and your FICO Mortgage Score 4 for any type of mortgage lending or refinancing possibly also. Last part's the most important. None of these free credit scores that you're going to see, they're giving you all these scores, are going to show you these specific credit scores, and that's the problem. That's what's very confusing to millions of Americans. You go apply for a car loan, and you're like, why is my score different than what I'm seeing on Experian? Why is my score different when I applied for an actual mortgage loan compared to what I saw on Experian? Because you're not looking at the industry-specific FICO scores. Now, there's going to be one place that is the big head honcho of finding your FICO scores. That's going to be myfico.com. Now, depending on where you are at, it can go all the way up to possibly $50 a month for the full shebang, where it shows you every single credit score of every single lending possibility. And it'll break it down to every single one of those scores and all of the different algorithms that you're going to need, because every single one of these is based on a different risk level. So the higher the risk is, then the higher your score needs to be approved. That's the best and simplest way that I can explain it to you. But also, dependent on the regions, you may only pay $29.99 a month for the full FICO scores of all of them, but depending on where you're at, you may pay $49.99, which can be very expensive. Now, there is only one place that I've ever found that actually shows you all of your industry-specific FICO scores for $1 on a 14-day trial. My FICO is losing the game because they're not giving out any free trials. Because guess what? I'm not gonna lie. I mean, they like to make money, okay? Let's just be honest with each other. And I don't blame them. But at the end of the day, they never offer you any free trials. Now, Experian will offer you a free trial, but they don't give you the industry-specific FICO scores. That's the problem. But MyScoreIQ puts all of your credit reports side by side in all of your scores. So if you do the actual trial, you log into your actual account with MyScoreIQ, then right underneath the personal information section is where you will see your industry-specific FICO scores. That's where they will be lined up. And then every one of your credit reports will be lined up side by side also. And the problem that I personally have with my FICO, and I don't use my FICO anymore because it doesn't streamline the entire process for me. So I have to look at my Equifax report, then I have to look at my Experian report, then I have to look at my TransUnion report. Instead of just lining them all up right next to each other, that would make more sense, right? And that's why I'm a fan of MyScoreIQ, because one, you can get the free trial for $1 for 14 days. And if you don't like it, well, you know what to do. I shouldn't have to tell you what to do, right? And if you decide to keep it, it goes all the way up to $34.99 a month, which is still cheaper than my FICO. Now, if you want to jump on the 14-day free trial to check out your scores, make sure to comment scores, or you can actually find the link in the video description or pinned at the top for anyone that actually wants to use. But I'm not done yet, because you have to understand that all of those free FICO scores that you're getting from your credit card companies, from your bank, they're not the credit scores that lenders use. So any free credit score that you see is not your credit score that lenders use. You have to be educated with that information so you make a better decision when you apply for something, because you want to look at those industry-specific FICO scores. And just to throw out some examples, American Express gives you a FICO score. It's great, it's free, not being used by any of the industry because it's not industry specific. Navy Federal also gives you a FICO score and a Vantage credit score. But again, it's not an industry specific actual FICO score, so it doesn't matter. Discover Bank gives you an actual FICO score, but it doesn't matter. But it gives you a good gauge of where your general FICO score is at. Those top free credit scores are just designed to help give you a guide to see exactly where your score is at. But before you apply for anything, go look at at your industry specific FICO scores so you can see if you truly qualify. The biggest discrepancy, like I said earlier, was with mortgage scores. When you apply for a mortgage score, let's say hypothetically my TransUnion credit score is at a 789 and I go apply for a mortgage loan and it's only a 705. I'm like, hold on. How is that even possible? Because remember, every single different credit product has a different industry, and every industry has a different risk level. The higher the risk, the higher the score needs to be. So the algorithm is designed to catch and find any type of issues that may cause you to not get any lending because you may not be the best qualified person for that actual product or item that you're trying to purchase or get borrowing for. So I hope you enjoyed this video. We covered a lot on your credit scores and what to actually look for so you can be better educated to make a better decision when you're applying for any type of credit products. Thanks for watching and being patient. My arm is a little bandaged up right now because I got a new tattoo of my son's name. It's pretty crazy, it's pretty awesome, but I did it for my son because I promised him that I will get a tattoo of his name, every one of my kids. But also make sure to watch the next video right there that you see up there because it is about how to increase your credit score. And please don't forget, subscribe to increase your credit score.